previous session, we learned about how to create a schema. So we created a schema SAP underscore MM, but that schema is not visible here, right? So how to get that schema? So now if here in the HANA Database Explorer, if I go to this, choose schema, here we can select the schemas which we want to see here on the list. So select here SAP MM and select. Then you can see that schema on your left hand side. Okay, so this schema, you have privileges, means you have means nothing but the user whichever I logged in currently, that user is having privileges on this schema. Okay, next. So now if I my next action is I want to create a table. Okay, so which table I want to create here? I want to create a SAP G Mara table in my database. So I want to create a G Mara table on my database. So switching back to my system here, we need to write a create statement here. Okay, so create table statement we need to write. But here what is happening, the console, SQL console, whichever is currently pointing to admin1 schema. It means it is pointing to the schema. So if I write any create statement here, then the table is creating under the admin1. So we need to switch that, schema of this console to SAP MM so that I can write the create statement. So how to switch schema? By writing set schema statement like set schema SAP underscore MM. SAP underscore MM. Then I can switch my schema to the current schema to SAP MM. Now if I write any statement on this SQL console, now all those statements will be executed on the SAP MM schema. Okay, so now what is our next action? Our next action is to create a table G Mara. Okay, so this Mara table is like standard SAP table Mara kind of table. I taken only few columns to create it here, and these are the columns like material number created on and all those things. Okay, so how to create a table in the database, we need to write a create statement. So create column table. So type of the type of the table is column table. Okay, we need to write column table here, and then the table name Gmara is my table name, followed by the field names. Okay, column names like for material number I given mat underscore num. In our SAP beta ECC, we have the separate technical names and corresponding descriptions are available. So whenever we go to the table, by enabling key and text, we can easily identify which column is which one. But in SQL here, to identify the column names easily, we need to provide proper naming convention to each column so that it will be distinguished properly. So my first column is material number, second column is created on material type, material group, base unit, prod order unit, gross weight, net weight, and weight unit. So now I will try to copy this statement into my console, and then I will try to explain you okay about this, or else we can write it also directly on our side. So create which type of table? Column table. So the keywords, SQL keywords all comes in this color. Gmara. This Gmara is my table name for bracket. So when I open bracket, within the brackets we need to write our column names. Okay, all the column names. First one is mat num. So material number. Okay, material number is of type nvarchar. So if you want to learn more about data types, you can directly jump into this data type section in my native HANA modeling playlist, or we can discuss about this in later point also. Okay, so mat number and varchar is one in SAP help also. Easily you will get about all the data types, but I will explain in a separate session what are the different data types we use here. I will add that video into this playlist. Mat number and varchar of length 18, comma, each column must separates with a comma separator. So material number is one column, and my next column is created on. and then created on is a date field. So I'm giving data type as a date, and then material type. So material type is n varchar of length 4. Okay, I'm taking the SAP standard, data types and the lengths. Okay, material group n varchar 9, and then base unit. So units are always with length 3, currency 5, unit 3, and then production order unit, unit and varchar. Instead of copy pasting, if we write on our own, then we will get to know about syntaxes and everything in detail. So gross weight. So gross weight is a numerical one, right? So I am giving decimal 13, 3 means it contains 3 decimal places. Similarly, net weight decimal 13, 3, and then weight underscore unit and varchar, because it is all again unit kind. So I defined all my column names in my table. So the next thing is we need to define a key column in our table to differentiate our records clearly. So in this Mara table, material number is the key. So for the material number, I'm writing a constraint here, primary key. So by writing this constraint, then it becomes the key of this table. Okay, and once we are done with this, then what we can do, simply click on this run button, then it will create a table in your schema. So now if you select your schema, sorry, not like this. If you go to the table section, if you click on the tables, because your console is currently mapped to SAP MM, it is showing the Mara table here. Okay, it is showing the same, which under which schema also SAP MM and Mara. Okay, it is clearly showing the table name here. So the next thing is not about only the console, the current user, admin also. The next thing, after creating the table name, so table, then what is our next priority? Once table is created, we need to enter some data into our table. So this is the sample data which I'm preparing now. So I will try to insert one record from the SQL using SQL statement, and remaining records we will try to import it via from a flat file, because if we have more number of records, it is not easy to insert data from the console. So now what we are going to do, I will show you how to write an insert statement here now. So now right click on the table name, and then you can generate an insert statement. Okay, generate insert statement. Similarly, if you right click on your console on your table, we have two more statements: generate create statement, generate select statement. So if you go to or else if you double click on your table name, it will open the definition of the table. So we have 9 columns, and these are the data types, and this is the key column, and which is not null, and these are the default values. Okay. And if you click on the open data, then it will show the data in the table. Currently there is no data in this table, so it is showing 0 records here. Okay, and the point is, whenever I right click here, and it is showing me console, right? It is created, it's opened a new console, and this again, you see this new console is pointed to schema admin1, which is nothing but our current user login. Okay, so whenever we are in a different user schema login, okay, different schema, but we want to insert data into our table which is in a different schema, then this is the naming convention that we need to follow. Insert into schema name followed by the table name, then directly the whatever statement you are writing, it goes into that particular table only. Okay, so now I'm trying to insert one record here from my sample data set. First record M1, I'm writing here M1, and created on, it is of 22/01/01, 2022/01/01, because these are strings. N varchar is a string, date, this is a date, again is a string. All strings and dates will be prefixed within single quotes. Okay, material type, so which is nothing but type 1. Okay, material group, which is nothing but MGRP 401. Okay, base unit is a PC. Okay, and then you see production unit, I have taken it as a blank, so I'm not giving anything. And the gross weight is a decimal, which is a numerical, data type. So for those, we no need to specify within the single quotes. We can directly enter like 0.25. Here also, I think 0.25, which is nothing but my net weight. And then finally, again, and varchar of type unit, which is kg. Okay, so I provided all my data here, and what are all these? These are all nothing but this is a comment. Whatever is there between a backslash star to backslash star backslash. This is a comment which helps us to understand what type of data I need to provide here. Okay, it's a good thing. Earlier we used to refer to the table structures parallelly before giving input here, but you see now they improved this generate statement in such a way like we can see the column name and the corresponding data type also, which gives a very good flexibility while generating data in this way. If I click on run command, it will insert a record into my table gmara. Now if I right click here and then open data on my table, I can see that one record. Okay, you see one record was inserted. Now you know how to insert data into this table using the SQL command. Now we will see how to insert data into this table using a CSV file. Now what I did, I created one CSV file with the comma separated to load the remaining data. So this is the table CSV file which contains a header row and the remaining 4 records in the comma separated format. Now what we are going to do, right click on the table, import data, and then go to import data. Next step 2, which is from data from local, or we can load data from different things. We can do, look into it later point. And then import to file to import. So I am selecting my file gmara, open, and then go to step 3, which is import target, because you are right clicking on the table name, system itself providing the schema and the table name. Okay, if it is the table is not available, we can create at runtime also. Okay, and then these are the columns in the table and the table name, data type and everything, source columns. Okay, these are the columns from the file, from my file, and these are the columns from the table. Okay, so for example, your file contains different format, means column sequence is a column sequence in your file is different than the table structure, then you can remap them here properly. Okay, but for me it is everything same, so I'm not need to do anything. I'm moving to the step 5. So here, in case of an error, what you want to do, because when we are entering data into the table via flat file, if the data is not matching with the data type, or if due to some other issues, sometimes some system may reject some of the records. So in such cases, save all successful rows and list the error. Do not save any row. Most of the cases, better it is to go for do not save any row if there is an error, because if you have 200 rows and 99 rows are successful and remaining all are failed, then it is very difficult which rows got failed. Okay, if you try to load again entire file, it will show the key violation. So better always to go for do not save any rows if there is an error, so that we can see the error message and correct that record, and we will try to re-import all data one more time. Okay, and then go for review, and then finally you can go for import to database. So import complete, view result rows. So it is successfully imported 4 records. Everything is good. Okay. Now if I right click on Mara table and go for open data, I can see my 5 records here. Okay, so this is my data. If you see here, the one which I inserted manually with the insert statement, this is a blank, but the one which I inserted from the file, it taken null. Both are common, like if it is a blank or null. This is how to insert data into a table. So what we learned so far is how to create a table in the schema and how to insert data either using SQL statement or from the importer file option. So now what is the next action? So the next action is creating 2 more tables and uploading data into those tables. So what's the next table what we are going to create? GMAKT, okay, which is nothing but material text table, where I have 3 columns, material number and language and the material description. Actually, it must be header row. I forgot, and then I mentioned it color. So now this is the statement. So what I'm going to do, in just not to take too much time in the video. So what I did, I copied my code into the notepad, and I'm going to explain this code in our SQL console. So the next table which I am going to create is the MAKT table. So here also we have material number and language and material description. 3 columns are there. But in this particular table, we have 2 keys. Earlier in the Mara table, I have only 1 column as a key. But in this table, I have 2 columns as a key. So if we have more than 1 column as a key, then what we are going to do at the end after the last column, okay, we are going to write a statement like primary key, and within the brackets we need to mention our key columns. So material number and lang, these are the two key columns in my table. Okay, for example, if I try to write primary key here, then system is not accepting. Okay, so if we have more than one primary key, then we need to write at the end of the columns within a within the brackets mentioning all the key columns. And the second thing is a foreign key. Again, this is one of the foreign key relationship between two tables. This is a text table, right? So whichever materials are available in the Mara table, for those materials, I am maintaining the text in this table. For example, we have M1 to M5 materials are there in the Mara table. Okay, so it is supposed to be the text is available, must be available for only M1 to M5 only. If I try to insert a text for M6, then it is not correct because M6 material itself is not available in the main table. Then it is not correct to maintain text for M6 in this table. So to avoid this kind of data inconsistency, we use this foreign key relationship to make sure only the existing materials we maintain text. So foreign key is a keyword, and then on which column you are providing this foreign key. I'm providing this foreign key relationship on material number table. And to which table I am referring this column? I am referring to the table GMARA. Okay, GMARA is my primary table where my material number is available, and only those materials I must be write to this material number to this text table. Okay, so let's try to create this table, and I will show you this practically also. Okay, so MAKT table was created, and you can see the structure here. We have 2 keys, 3 columns. Okay, now what is our next thing? Our next thing is to insert some data into it. So this also I have one CSV file. So I am importing data from the CSV file. Step 2, local file MAKT, open, and then step 3, yeah, to this table, and these are the 3 columns, and then step 5. Do not save any data if in case of errors, import to database. So it was successful. Now MIKT, now if I try to see open data, whichever 5 materials are available in my master data table, for those 5 materials I maintain the text. Now to show this foreign key relationship, I am trying to insert a new record into this generate insert statement into this material text table. Here I am trying to insert M6 material which is not yet available in my Mara table, primary table, okay, of language EN, and then material material 6. Okay, now if I try to insert this record into the table, foreign key constraint violation. So it is saying with only 0 of 1 records inserted. Okay, on GMARA table material number. Clearly it is saying we cannot execute this M6 because this particular column is not M6 is not available in the Mara table. Like this we can handle the junk data to entering into our tables. Okay, I hope it is clear. So moving to the next table. So the next table what we are going to create is transactional data table. Okay, so MAKT completed. Now we are loading some transactional data, nothing which is GAVBAP. I have taken these are the columns I'm considering for this one, and this is the select statement, create table statement for this. So let's try to create a table. Now go here and copy paste this one. Same like the other two tables. Here also I have sales document number, sales document item number created on entry time, material number, document type, quantity, unit of measure. And here document number and item are the two primary keys to this table. And then for material number also I am referring it to the GMARA table for foreign key relationship. Okay, I'm executing this statement. So then it will create GVBAP table. Now I'm going to insert data into it. Import data. Step 2, browse file, GVBAP. And then step 3, step 4. So all fields are good. I think I given the same sequence. So next, do not save, review, and then import into database. So all good because I can given data correctly. So then now I can VBAP, right click, open data. So I have around 12 records in my table and this is my data set. See here, for example, on material number, you can provide filter here, M1. So on the once you when you are seeing data in the table, SAP is giving option to filter the data also. Okay, and to further just a data validation purpose kind of thing. Okay, SQL statement. See here we can see the SQL statement generated for this one. Okay, and edit SQL statement means what you can edit this SQL statement and you can view data also. Okay, so SAP is giving different options, on from this data preview. Okay, here SAP is providing analysis also, like in native HANA calculation views, how we have analysis option, such kind of option SAP is giving here. For example, material number and then quantity. Then you see at material number data was aggregated and I can see the quantity here. Okay, so these are all different options SAP is giving in the data preview section here. Okay, so let's close this one. Now we will try to insert one record into this table manually. Generate insert statement. Okay, and I have data till 1008, right? Not 8 document number is there. So now I am going to write data from 109. Okay, so 109 is my document number, item is 10, and then date is, for example, 2024 0724. Let's give like this. Entry time is, for example, 10 1600, and then material number. So material number, I have written a foreign key relationship on material number, so I am giving M here to show you the foreign key relationship working correct or not here. Document type, I think over standard order is the document type which I given here, and then quantity, let's say 100, and then UOM, what I given UOM as kgs. Okay, now if I try to execute this, again it is saying it is not possible due to foreign key relationship on material number. For example, here if I am giving M1 instead of M6 and then execute, record was executed successfully, and if I come here and try to refresh my data, I can see the 109 record also here. Okay, so this is how to insert data into the tables. Okay, and when you click on this tables button, you can see all the tables available here on your schema. I hope it is clear. So the next topic that we are going to discuss is select queries.